In the enigmatic shadows of Vatican City, a realm where ancient stones hold secrets and power moves in silent corridors, a mystery unfolds. It's a story that transcends the mere disappearance of a young girl, reaching into the depths of the unseen and the unspoken. This is the tale of Emanuela Orlandi, whose vanishing on a summer's day in 1983 has echoed through the corridors of power and whispered in the alleyways of conspiracy. Emanuela was not just any girl. She was the daughter of a Vatican employee, a citizen of one of the most mysterious sovereign entities on earth. Her disappearance from the bustling streets of Rome sent shockwaves that reverberated far beyond the Vatican's towering walls. For decades, her absence has been a haunting presence, a void filled with theories, speculations, and endless questions. June 22, 1983, a date that would become etched in the annals of mystery. On this summer day, Emanuela Orlandi, just 15 years old, stepped into the bustling heart of Rome. She was a girl on the cusp of womanhood, her life a tapestry of school, family, and music, a typical teenager in many ways. Yet, her life was also marked by the unique shadow of the Vatican, where her father served. Emanuela had attended a music lesson at the Tommaso Ludovico da Vittoria School, located in the center of Rome. It was an ordinary afternoon, with the city pulsating with the rhythm of daily life. But as the minutes ticked by, and Emanuela failed to return home, a sense of unease began to settle in. Her family's concern rapidly turned into panic. Her absence sent ripples through her community, a wave of worry that soon turned into a torrent of action. Search parties were formed, flyers printed, and pleas for information broadcasted. The streets of Rome, usually alive with the hum of history and culture, now echoed with the name of a missing girl. The initial search efforts revealed the complexities beneath the surface of this case. It wasn't just a matter of a girl failing to return home. It was a disappearance that happened under the watchful eyes of one of the world's most influential institutions. As the days turned into weeks and weeks into months, the mystery of Emanuela Orlandi's disappearance began to unfold like a dark tapestry, each thread leading to more questions than answers. What might have seemed like a straightforward case of a missing teenager soon spiraled into a labyrinth of theories and speculations. In this perplexing enigma, every clue, every witness, every theory seemed to only deepen the mystery. Emanuela Orlandi had vanished, but her story was just beginning to be told. As the sun rose on the days following Emanuela's disappearance, the urgency of the situation began to pierce the usual calm of Vatican City and the bustling streets of Rome. News of the missing girl spread like a whisper, turning into a shout, crossing the sacred boundaries of the Vatican and echoing through the corridors of power in Italy. The response was immediate and palpable. Vatican and Italian authorities, recognizing the gravity of the situation, mobilized a comprehensive search effort. The cobbled streets of Rome, typically a tapestry of tourists and locals, became the backdrop for a desperate search for one of their own. But this was no ordinary case of a missing teenager. The Italian Secret Service, tuned to the nuances of cases that touched the Vatican, sensed undercurrents of something more ominous. They advised the Orlandi family to record all incoming phone calls. This recommendation, seemingly excessive at first, would soon prove to be unsettlingly prescient. It was as if those behind the scenes knew that Emanuela's disappearance was not a simple case of a lost child. It was a move that suggested foreknowledge, a hint that this case would unravel into a complex web, stretching far beyond a family's search for their daughter. The actions of the authorities were a harbinger of the twists and turns to come. The recording of the phone calls would open a Pandora's box of leads, cryptic messages, and shadowy figures, turning the search for Emanuela into a journey through a maze of mystery and speculation. In the days following Emanuela's disappearance, the air in Rome was thick with the buzz of uncertainty and fear. It was during this time, amidst the clamor of search efforts and public appeals, that a series of cryptic phone calls began to weave their way into the narrative, adding layers of mystery to an already baffling case. The first of these calls came from a man who identified himself as Mario. His voice, tinged with anonymity, claimed a sighting of a young girl resembling Emanuela. This girl, he said, called herself Barbara, and had confessed to being a runaway. The details were vague, the information elusive, yet it was a thread in a tapestry of uncertainty that could not be ignored. Then, a moment that marked a turning point. During the Pope's Angelus, a public appeal was made. It was a rare and significant move, an official acknowledgement from the highest echelons of the Vatican that Emanuela's disappearance might be more than a mere missing persons case. This appeal echoed the fears and suspicions that were already starting to form in the hearts of those following the case. The Pope's words were not just a call for assistance. They were an admission that the threads of this mystery were entangled in a larger, more complex web. The very involvement of the Vatican in this appeal added a profound dimension to the case, suggesting that the implications of Emanuela's disappearance reached far beyond the streets of Rome. These mysterious calls, coupled with the Vatican's public acknowledgement, served to heighten the intrigue and the urgency surrounding Emanuela's case. Each call, each claim seemed to only deepen the enigma, drawing the public, the media, and the authorities into a perplexing dance with the unknown.
In modo particolare il mio pensiero va a Emanuela Orlandi e a Mirella Gregory, la cui sparizione da troppo tempo ormai causa tanta pena alle rispettive famiglie e grande perplessità nell'opinione pubblica. Sono tanto vicino ai genitori delle giovani studentesse, condividendo la loro ansia indicibile, e prego il Signore affinché tocchi il cuore di coloro.
As the investigation into Emanuela Orlandi's disappearance deepened, Rome became a city not just of history and beauty, but of whispers and shadows. Theories began to swirl like the Roman winds, each more perplexing than the last, each a reflection of the labyrinthine nature of this case. One prevailing theory pointed towards the Banda della Magliana, Rome's notorious criminal underworld. Known for their ruthless operations, this gang was rumored to be entwined with the dark underbelly of the Vatican's financial scandals. Could Emanuela have inadvertently become a pawn in a dangerous game of power and money, her fate sealed by the clandestine dealings of this nefarious group? Another theory cast its shadow in a different direction, towards Mehmet Ali Aka, the Turkish gunman infamous for his attempt to assassinate Pope John Paul II. Was Emanuela's disappearance part of a bizarre plot for his release? The notion seemed far-fetched, yet in the vortex of this case, nothing could be conclusively ruled out. And then there was the American, an enigmatic figure, an anonymous caller with a distinct accent, who claimed to represent a terrorist organization holding Emanuela. His calls were not just mere words, they were accompanied by chilling evidence, a recording of Emanuela's voice, a haunting echo from an unseen place. He knew specific details about her life, details that only someone close to the case, or to Emanuela herself, could know. Each theory, each speculation, added layers to the mystery, making the truth ever more elusive. Was Emanuela's disappearance a criminal act, a political statement, or something even more complex? The streets of Rome, usually alive with the stories of the past, were now haunted by the story of a girl lost in the present. Her fate, a riddle wrapped in the mysteries of the eternal city. In the saga of Emanuela Orlandi's disappearance, each day seemed to unravel further into a labyrinthine drama, a tale woven with more twists and turns than the ancient streets of Rome itself. The case became not just a search for a missing girl, but a journey through a maze of the improbable and the sinister. Phone calls from supposed kidnappers pierced the silence of the Orlandi household, each one a sinister melody of hope and despair. These callers, shrouded in mystery, claimed knowledge of Emanuela, some even demanding ransoms or making outlandish political demands. Yet each lead seemed to dissolve into the ether, as tangible as the morning mist over the Tiber. Alleged sightings of Emanuela popped up across the city, across the country, even across borders. Hopeful glimmers that flickered and then faded, as each sighting proved to be a mirage, a cruel echo of a girl still lost. Years later, the case took a chilling turn. Bones were discovered in a Vatican tomb, a discovery that reignited the smoldering embers of the case. Could these be the remains of Emanuela? The question hung in the air, heavy with implications. But science, in its unyielding truth, revealed that the bones belonged to an era long before Emanuela walked the streets of Rome. The Vatican's silence through much of this was a shadow cast long and dark. This silence, and the sparse statements that did emerge, only served to thicken the plot. And then came Vatican Girl, the Netflix series that peeled back layers of the story, revealing aspects previously hidden in the shadows. It brought not just attention, but a renewed sense of intrigue to a case long mired in obscurity. Each new lead, each revelation seemed only to open more doors, behind which lay more questions than answers. The case of Emanuela Orlandi, a drama unfolding over decades, became a tapestry of the unsolved and the unexplained, woven into the very fabric of Rome's mystique. Decades have drifted by since the day Emanuela Orlandi left her music class and stepped into an enigma that would captivate the world. Her story, woven into the fabric of one of the most secretive and powerful city-states on Earth, remains an open chapter in the annals of mystery. It is a tale that transcends time, resonating in the hushed corridors of the Vatican and the bustling streets of Rome. The disappearance of Emanuela Orlandi is more than a case of a missing person. It is a narrative steeped in the shadows of intrigue, power, and secrets. Her name has become synonymous with the unfathomable, a symbol of the eternal struggle between light and darkness, truth and obscurity.